go. We're back on.
We're back on part two.
Go. We're back on.
We're back on part two.
All right.
So we're going to shut some of these windows down, and we're going to show you something that we're positive that you don't know nothing about. We are being lied to in such a way that you ain't going to believe this shit. We being lied to. Don't even go to work tomorrow. Just sit back and listen to my shit all day.
Oh my God, he's crazy. He's crazy. Look, is that what y'all saying?
He is crazy. So,
all right. So, a lot of crazy things have been going on. As you guys know, we are in Mexico, so this is not my home, but kind of my second home. But anyway, nevertheless, I'm here. So, the other day, matter of fact, it was what's today? The 21st, right?
Correct.
So it happened on the 19th. Right. So on September 19th, my friend ran out to help me get some things taken care of. And in that time, he texted me and said that he was going to be a little later because the Mexico had to do a earthquake simulation at the I'm trying to pull it up now. At the mall, pretty much everywhere that they had business, they were doing an evacuation for an earthquake simulation, similar to kind of like a fire drill or whatnot. So I didn't think very much of it. So I got these up because I just wanted you guys to actually see, like, you can't make this stuff up. So hold on, I want to get to these. My friend says that he said that on this day that they had a simulation. It's a part of preventative process. An earthquake was real every year on September 19th. So it just so happens that they have earthquakes at the same time on the same day. Often, very, very often. How don't I have that screenshot up here out of all the screenshot with all the dates?
Use your phone.
I am ill prepared. I apologize.
I'll go for your phone when you go through that.
Well, no, I know what the picture is. I thought I had emailed it to myself.
So I'll look for it. So while she's looking,
here, let me just show you myself. So
this is what happened.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the text messages in order.
So here's what happened.
To have this right. Oh, here we go. Here Perfect. It is.
Look at the time.
Okay, yeah. Here we go. I found the right one. Let me send this to myself so I can show you guys this one as well. This one's taking a while. Try to get this to send to me. Send it to my Gmail. All right, so it says they're doing a earthquake evacuation simulation. Today is September 19th, the date of the earthquake in Mexico City. I have to wait for the simulation to pass. I said, okay, so we go on about the day. But then I started thinking, and I'm like, so then I felt like after he said it, maybe about an hour or so after he said this to me, Santana, and the kids were all in my room, and I start to feel like kind of like motion. I've never experienced an earthquake. I don't know. I don't have any kind of knowledge of what it feels like, what any kind of warning or anything like that was. So as soon as I started to feel like, wait a minute, is everything moving? And I had never felt a feeling like that before because it feels very, very magnetic, the way that you kind of move. And Santana's looking at me, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Do you feel that? And he's like, no, what do you feel? And he's telling me that, it's probably my son Santana because he moves around a lot. So I'm thinking that he's rocking the bed. So I'm like, okay. So then my other friend who's here in Mexico, she texts me and says, everywhere was flooded. And did you feel the earthquake? I said, no, when did that happen? She said 1 p.m. So you can verify the time that I was looking at talking to my friend about it. She said it's the third that's ever happened on an earthquake on this day. So this is the third earthquake that Mexico has had on this day, September 19th. So I start going crazy and I start asking the other questions like, how is this possible? How is this possible? I said, how can
because she knows about the algorithm.
I said, how can this earthquake be coming? How could it possibly be on the same exact day around a certain time of year? I'm still not convinced with that either, because I know that earthquakes are total manipulation, but you can get me in a little bit easier with saying it's around the same time of year, but the same exact day. And let me show you. So I started going crazy, so I wanted to know specifically what's going on here. So I had her send me the dates that Mexico has had earthquakes, and they had one in 1985 on September 19th. It was an 8.1. In 2007, they had it on September 7th. They had at 8.2. 2017, they got hit again on September 19th. Here we go again with 19, and it was a 7.1. Then 2021, here's September 7th again, 7.1. 2022, September 19th, a 7.4. My girlfriend is telling me that, I saw her. I said, well, why didn't you tell me that it's 2 dates? It's September 19th and September 7th. And she's like, I didn't remember, and it's just like, because these things to them are like not even a thought, because they just live here, and they just whatever they're told is just,
they only make an average of 300 pesos a week.
Yeah, that's doing good. That's like, doing okay.
Like $60. So the people here making like $60 a week.
Yeah.
So they can't pay attention to nothing, because they're making $60 a week, and the power bills went from like $10
the power here
to
is
$1,000 in a month. Like literally, the power bill used to be $10. They're now $1,000.
Yeah.
So the people are making $60 a week. So everything going around you don't pay attention to, because when you're struggling, the only thing you think to pay attention to is food and your light bills.
Right.
So they're so distracted that they don't know they're being set up for something terrible. It's in the algorithm, but it's right there in front of them.
Yeah, it's literally
showing the
dates are right here. It's so crazy. So when we were talking about it, Santana was like, that's in the cards, and we went ahead and we got a deck of these cards, because we heard that so much stuff was in them. Well, it's true, they do have literally everything in these cards, but this particular one, I hope you guys can see, that is the earthquake projector. I'm hoping you guys can read this well, but basically, it says this device can act once per turn. It can increase the power of any attack to destroy a place or any disaster card. So they have rules and all kinds of things that go along with this game. I'm not familiar with the game at all. We just got the cards to see what they're showing us, because these were published back in 1994, 1995, and they literally have the Twin Towers getting hit. These cards have everything. It's unbelievable. But clearly, this is not God. This is not some natural phenomenon that's taking place. This is clearly being managed.
Understand that all of us, have allowed our systems to put in place kill disaster machines that kill us.
Yep.
Listen, don't believe me, because don't have to, because I'm a crazy man, and I acknowledge, yep, I'm crazy. What I'm trying to explain to you is this: each of our countries that we respectively work for and live for and under these systems have disasters already set in place for us. They are already there. You understand? Mexico has a machine that can cause an earthquake and a tsunami.
Look at this, you guys. Look at these. Look at some of these clips.
Understand
that they were sending us as this thing was going on, because they're trying to figure out why I'm so curious. And I'm like, why aren't you curious? Why aren't you curious that Mexico only has earthquakes on the same days? Everything's frozen. I guess it's the Wi-Fi. Oh, it's maybe too many windows too, maybe. Oh, here we go. It just started.
So understand that. Listen, our friend told us they were going to be doing a practice earthquake drill because the people here are so distracted that they believe the authorities when the authorities tell them we're going to do a fake simulation of an earthquake. And then 2 hours later, a 7 point, what is it?
What was it?
You just press play. Press play to come up on your screen. You already got it. Perfect. 2 hours after our friend tells us they're doing a earthquake fire drill on the 19th. Check it out. Look at the date. 9/19/22.
Here you go.
2 hours later. Look at the time.
Look at the building, guys.
1:07 p.m. You're going to see the text message we got from our friend told us, look at the time, 1:07 p.m. 47 seconds. The text message we got from our friend was a couple hours prior to this earthquake. The authorities here in Mexico that you think are slow and don't know nothing, this is the third world country, are in possession of a weapon that can create an earthquake and create a tsunami. Now I want you to see that at 1:07 p.m. from that video, the earthquake had already started. But we had received text messages from our friends 2 hours prior
saying it was going to be a simulation.
A simulation was coming, so they knew it was coming.
And then they just say, "Oh no! It just so happened to have an earthquake on the same day."
2 hours after it. The same way, if anyone in America is familiar with loose change, for the people who are familiar with America and loose change, you remember that they were having an Air Force simulation the exact same day of September 11th, except the Air Force had a simulation about planes crashing into buildings the exact same day as September the 11th. Same thing. These like buildings have collapsed, and everyone stood around and watched an earthquake take place, and was just like, "Oh yeah, this is the simulation that they was telling us about." I need you guys to understand.
Well, no. That's not what it was. No,
well, I knew it.
No, they all evacuated for just us. Like I'm telling you, they treated it like it was a fire drill. You know, like something that you just practicing for if it doesn't happen, but yet it actually happened. It's ridiculous. Look at this.
Otra vez 19 de septiembre.
It should worry you that our government is in possession of a weapon that can create its own earthquake and tsunami. This ain't black, white, Spanish, Mexican, nigga, bitch, Jew, crackhead, nothing. Our authorities have a weapon that when they choose, they can kill a lot of people. They've been allowed to put into place. And when you have time, I can show you the events that precipitated, that allowed these things to be in place. A 7.7. That's a big earthquake. That's a big earthquake.
Yeah, it was big.
And what time was the message from Boris?
I have to go back. Look at this. Look at the buildings, guys, once it finishes buffering. And like they're just saying things like, it is very curious. And it's just so crazy to me because it's like, man, I'm trying to figure out what's my next move because I clearly know that they are manipulating things on a level that I'm just not equipped to deal with right now. Seriously. Look at this.
Challenge. Look at
this. Look at this. Come on. This is Mexican internet.
Yeah, but understand that they had people outside watching an earthquake telling them that it was just a simulation and they believed it.
No. That's what I'm trying to say. They
didn't believe it?
No.
They believed it, right?
They didn't say that what's happening is a simulation. No, they told the people at this time we are going to do a simulation for earthquake prevention because on this day we've had it happen and it was a really bad one in Mexico. During that time they actually had one.
But didn't Boris say he thought it was a simulation?
He's saying that they just so happened to have an earthquake
during a simulation.
Right, but what I'm saying is they didn't tell him that the earthquake that took place was a simulation. Okay. Right.
Okay. I'm just simply saying, hey, they told them they were doing a fire drill. Working. So just imagine if y'all was in school.
Yes.
And the teacher said, hey kids, we're going to do a fire drill.
Yep.
And then you go outside and the building catches on fire.
And the building catches on fire, exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
Well,
that's what happened.
They told us that they were having a earthquake fire drill.
Yep.
And then 2 hours later, there was a 7.7 earthquake.
Look at this, y'all.
Listen,
please
I really
stop
hope
fighting
with each other.
Look at this. Look at the ground,
talking
guys.
About stuff other than we're being lied to on a level and a scale.
I really want you guys to see this.
This is the one, yeah.
Look at it moving.
Whole streets. Look at that. That's scary.
And then it's just like.
That's scary.
Está muy largo, pero estuvo muy cerca del epicentro.
Now, I know in America we're the smartest country in the world. We don't know how to predict earthquakes in America. How can Mexico predict earthquakes? Tell me how. Remember, we're advanced and they're supposed to be a third world country. Well, tell me how this third world country knew an earthquake was coming this day. Listen, y'all, we're being distracted and lied to on a scale that.
Oh yes. But that's the name of the game. Like everything is about distraction. Every single thing is about 100% distraction.
Yeah, like Mark Fuller, breath stank. See, I just distracted you.
You did. I did not know that was going to happen.
Yeah. Mark Fuller breath smell like doo doo. It's like it smell like dookie.
Oh my God. Alright, y'all. Well, I wanted to share with you guys I guess that's another coincidence that Mexico has had. Let's go over those dates again before I finish this. So this is another coincidence. This is similar to the algorithm, that like how that's a coincidence. So let's go over this again. Mexico has had earthquakes in 1985, 2017, twice, 2021, and 2022. Each time was on the 19th of September, the 7th of September, the 19th of September, the 7th of September. And I got to tell you, I can appreciate the order, too, because it's not like it does 1919 or 7-7. It's 19-7, 19-7,
I believe the next one's going to be on...
the 7th?
The 8th. Listen. We're not trying to say we're smarter than anybody else.
No,
we're just saying,
you don't have to be smart for this.
Please look at this.
No.
Understand that everything they told us is a lie. They
it is.
About everything.
It is.
And it's dangerous, and they're trying to use a big weapon machine.
And they're trying to act like all these things aren't just based off of some sort of frequency in regards to, and they call them algorithms or whatever, but it's a real physical frequency. Since Santana found the Santana effect,
Can you dig it?
you know that, of course, I look at things differently now too. So I told him, I was like, you know what? Let me look at 1955, because 1955 was the year that the Civil Rights Movement was supposed to have started.
Booger Wolf. First
And,
Ford.
And I was telling him about how I remember the story. Like we all grew up with the Rosa Parks story. You know, this older lady. She was on the bus, and she was definitely a cutie pie.
Dig it.
She refused to give up her seat. Everybody knows the story. She said her feet hurt, and she ain't going nowhere. She worked all day, and she wasn't going to the back of the bus. So that's pretty much what sparked the whole civil rights movement, so they say. But how I like to do the algorithm, Santana is very specific. I am not as specific as him. I just kind of just look at just that year, the years, the 13 years. And so I looked at 1955, and man, so much stuff happened in 1955. You have the USS Nados becomes the first operational nuclear-powered submarine. Jonas Salk's polio vaccine is declared safe and effective. This just happened in 1955. The Mickey Mouse Club debuts on ABC. That's massive. The Soviet Union and its Eastern Bloc allies signed the Warsaw Pact. And here we are, Miss Rosa Parks, an African-American woman passenger, is arrested after refusing to give up her bus seat. You got your top game show at the time. The first Guinness Book World of Records is published in 1955. I gotta tell you, 1955 was a big thing. Like, these are like really big things that we talk about to this day and use. Disneyland opens in California. Disneyland opened up in California this year too. The United States begins its involvement in the Vietnam conflict. The St. Lawrence Seaway opens to ocean vessels from Montreal to U.S. ports on the Great Lakes. Now, I'm sure this isn't everything that happened, but I have to say, just looking at this year alone, I'd say this is a very pivotal time in American history.
It's a mini reset.
Definitely a mini reset. I mean, look at all the things that are taking place. You got your you have nuclear weapons involved in this. You have vaccinations involved in this. You have Disney involved in this.
The Civil Rights Movement.
The Civil Rights Movement involved in this. Guinness Book World of Records, you guys know how big that is, because what is that book full of? The first, the best, the records of everything. So I say, okay, well, if all of this happened in 1955, I need to see what happened when? 13 years before, right? So that was, you know, how I said, you know, I don't do specific states and things like Santana does. He's too
crazy,
meticulous for me.
He's crazy,
because I found that you can do this with a much broader brush. So
he's crazy.
He is. So 1942. That's him being crazy. Did y'all hear that? That wasn't the thing outside. So I looked at 1942. This is 13 years before 1955. And it says that in 1942, U.S. car makers switched from making cars to making war materials.
That's weird.
Now, why would they have the foresight to stop making cars and make war materials 13 years before they get involved in the Vietnam War?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's almost exact.
But you know, that's like perfect timing though, because it was right on time though. It was right on time.
Well, it's almost as good as timing as Japan getting the automobile industry 13 years after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and then just in time to do manufacturing for Korea for the North and South Korea War 13 years later. Coincidences.
All of these coincidences. This is just really, really weird. Then let's look at this too. This is another coincidence. Now I told you in 1955 is when we got involved with Vietnam, right? But 13 years before that, we didn't know anything about that kind of stuff was going to happen with Vietnam and stuff like that. But why 13 years before that, the minimum age for draft got lowered from 21 to 18?
That's weird. How do they know?
Wait a minute.
There was no war going on.
There was no. Why? Why?
Oh, World War II.
World War II. That ended in 1945.
But yeah, right. Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry. You know.
Yes,
Shit.
yes.
You know, listen, you hang with a smart nigga, you know some shit.
So look what else happened. The Congress creates the Women's Army Auxiliary Corporation. Corps.
Soldiers.
This is female soldiers. Did you know about female soldiers in 1942? Didn't that seem like a new thing with women, you know,
right,
wanting that so bad? Okay, number 4 is something that I find very, very peculiar because now we're dealing with nuclear weapons again. The Manhattan Project started. And if you guys don't know anything about that, this is when our government said that it was absolutely necessary that we had to test nuclear medicine on the human body to see what happens.
Who said that?
Oh, what was his name again? What was his name?
Who was he the president of?
It's always Harvard.
Of course it is.
It's always Harvard. Like, I can't remember the guy's name right now, but I know that it's always the president of Harvard that does that. But now, find out who it is. I can't remember.
I'll get his name while you're doing it.
It was Colonel Mustard in the billiard room with the wrench. But so anyway, the Manhattan Project started. What they did not tell the patients were that they literally were going to like melt away and die. You know, they killed thousands of people in the name of science. As long as it's in the name of science. Okay, what else we got? Japanese take Guam, Hong Kong, Singapore, and the Philippines. Coconut Grove nightclub in Boston burns to the ground. Battle of Midway turns tide in naval war with American resounding success. Oh, White Christmas by Bing Crosby. That came out that year. Let's get ready for Christmas. Yeah, so I thought these things were very, very peculiar. I thought that it was very peculiar that 13 years prior to war and all of those kind of things, it kind of looked like they were prepping for it. But, you know, I don't think America knew anything about that, the citizens anyway. So then I said, okay, this is so crazy. This is just too crazy. So what the hell happened 13 years after 1955?
So can I cut in for 1 second?
Of course.
So, for those who aren't familiar with how this works, we're not giving opinions, and we don't have an opinion on right or wrong. We're not Democrat nor Republican, Christian, nothing.
No.
We just found that when you see these particular events, you're going to find that these particular events, and you're going to find that the place where the events took place gets rewarded, like literally the city that takes place. So the significance of telling you about this particular pattern we found with the disaster that you see 13 years later as a reward, if you are aware of them and you stop them, they don't have the energy to do the act that they were trying to accomplish. So, for example, as a result of everything that was allowed to take place in 1995 that did not get questioned.
1955?
Yeah, because you're going to go into 1968.
Right.
So everything that got accepted in 1955 that was not questioned, since it was not questioned, then they were allowed to go ahead with that reward that was generated, the energy from the damn lie that was built up. It's allowed to use that energy in 13 years. But if you stop it and look at it and be honest and don't allow it to take place, then they cannot do their event. And you're going to see that the years, for example, in Mexico, where you're going to have 2 of the earthquakes in 1 year, you'll find that the reason why they have 2 earthquakes is because 13 years prior, they had a major event, and afterwards they had a miscarriage of justice. So not only did the event take place and they accepted a lie, they allowed someone else to be prosecuted for something that they didn't do. So it was a miscarriage of justice. So they got hit twice. But this isn't our opinion. We can narrow down any event. Like, everything is right there. You're gonna look at the
and we're not selecting the events either.
No.
Like, you see, I'm just Googling things, and this is what pulled up. The only thing that I was looking for was the Rosa Parks incident, because I had to look into it, because unfortunately I found out that the whole thing was a whole hoax. It's NAACP, it's Black Lives Matter, it's the same thing. We've been tricked with this thing all the way back then. And in fact, then Santana made me aware of a skit from Boondocks that is absolutely hilarious, and it is a phenomenal depiction of how fraudulent this whole thing is that we got going. So I am going to play this clip so you guys can laugh, because it is funny.
I am the stone that the builder refused. I am the visual, the inspiration that made ladies sing the blues. I'm the spark that makes your idea bright. The same spark that lights the dark so that you can know your left from your right. I am the ballad in your box, the bullet in the gun.
Let's see here. How did we get so far away?
It is true that
Oh, wait a minute. Is it here?
you only get one
You
vote.
sure? This is the right one?
Promise of what's to come, and I'ma remain a soldier till the war is won.
No, the public's not.
Oh, okay.
Stay strong,
Yeah.
Mr. Rosa.
Ain't called Rosa Parks?
There you go.
She stole my thunder.
Robert, you got to let it go.
What did Rosa Parks do to you?
Robert was a member of the Montgomery Bus Boycott Strategic Planning Committee in 1955.
Strategic Planning
he was
Committee.
on that bus with Sister Rosa that fateful day.
Okay, this is it, brother. Remember, no matter what they do, nobody gives up their seat. You dig?
We shall not be moved.
He talk like
Y'all
you
can-
dig?
I know.
Go head on to the back.
We's moving, Mr. Boss Man. We's moving.
Ain't that how it really is? They be the main ones that run off.
It's like Baltimore. They take, is that in Boston? Is that in Baltimore?
It must be in Baltimore.
Back there real quick. This here far enough for you, Mr. Boss Man. I can press myself up against the cold glass window. This good?
You. Go ahead to the back.
No, I am not going to move.
Mr. Bus Driver, sir. she ain't moved.
How dare you refuse to give up your seat, woman? What are you, some kind of history-making crusader for justice?
Yes, we.
Oh, you think you're gonna change history on your own? Is that it, woman? All by yourself? That lady sure has courage.
Hey, what about me? I got courage. Wants me to fence the police.
Hey, can someone get me the
Mr. Bus
sheriff?
Driver,
I've got a
sir?
colored woman here who don't want to give up her seat. Stay strong, Mr. Rosa.
We'll love you forever. That's right. Take us to jail. We're not afraid.
Stay out of trouble.
Robert.
Now, that's hilarious.
What's not hilarious is that it really was staged.
The whole thing was staged.
It was staged.
So, because it was staged, let me tell you what that means. That means this. The Rosa Parks bus is the Montgomery bus boycott. That was known as the birth of the foundation event that started the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
That birthed a very important civil rights leader. You're going to find that particular thing is what birthed this particular civil rights leader, a gentleman by the name of Martin Luther King. You can notice that he was the leader of the civil rights movement from 1955 to 1968. 13 years. Man, you know what? That's a coincidence, right?
Definitely.
All right. If anyone, okay. Oh, yes, I'm being facetious.
I was just getting ready to get into that. Like, because I was saying that it made me look at 13 years after 1955.
Right.
You look at 1968, the first thing that they show you is Dr. King was
assassinated. So,
but some other things took place.
We're going to look at 1968 and show you something.
I have it's in my email.
It's in your email. Boom.
With all the other things.
Cool. 42. So let's go to 68.
Keep scrolling down.
I got it. The very first thing they have is Martin Luther King was shot in dead in Memphis Motel. So, for everyone out there that thinks that these are just coincidences, I want you to look at the economy of Memphis, Tennessee, when Martin Luther King was murdered there. And then I want you to look at the economy 13 years later and see what happened. So you're going to see how an economy all of a sudden shut down because of closing of a business. And then the reopening of this same business allowed the economy to start building. So the economies aren't failing and succeeding. They're opening and closing, stopping and starting and shutting and failing and everything because somebody says do that to do this on purpose. I say all these things to say that if you allow these events to take place and do not look at them honestly and investigate them and go for the lie, you're feeding this to the devil and it builds energy and they're allowed to harness something 13 years later that's not beneficial to you, but it's only beneficial to the order that they're all working towards. So I want you to understand that the Vietnam War wouldn't have allowed to be able to take place if everyone would have seen the lie in the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement was a lie. All right, so we look at Malcolm X.
The civil rights movement was Me Too.
The civil rights movement was everything. The civil rights movement was the extended version of everything that's going on right now. Right now, let's say a Me Too, for example. The civil rights movement went on longer than the Me Too because the Me Too played out because we have the internet. If the civil rights movement had an internet, the civil rights movement would have lasted probably a week.
Yep. They had to get them civil rights shoes.
Yeah, exactly. It took longer.
They had to do all that marching.
Everything. The civil rights suits. The civil rights suits.
Nobody doing no marching.
Nobody marching. Nobody doing nothing. People won't even send an email and tell a person that blindness has been fixed.
They won't even march virtually.
So, getting into the King assassination and this algorithm, I'm explaining to you that all the things that you saw, the inception and getting into the wars and all those things, they could not have taken place if humanity would have stood up to and stop things
Disney
to place.
Fuel everything, like you see.
Yeah,
like
Disney's lying to you.
Like Disney is in the core of all of this stuff. You'll see that they seduce you with entertainment, nuclear power.
Yep.
And for each of those years, you see it.
Absolutely. It's all a distraction. Whenever they're doing something horrible,
they will entertain.
They just entertain you, and that's what these athletes are for.
Yeah.
And that's what David Chappelle's for, and everybody. But David Chappelle's a little more special than others for a particular reason because of his date. It's 1973. For those who are scared about this thing where they're saying Notre Dame is talking about zombies, let me reassure you, let you know that zombies ain't going to come and bother you. The zombie that you are worried about is you, dum-dum. You're the zombie. You're about to wake up. You're the zombie. You're about to wake up. Let me explain to you what Nostradamus is doing. He's explaining something to you. He's right, and you're missing it because you're a zombie. So let the person, the light bringer, who fixed worldwide blindness, because worldwide blindness is literally just giving you light. That's all it is. It's light, the bending and the manipulation of light. So he's talking about fathers and mothers dead of infinite sorrows, woman in mourning, the pestilence, she-monster, the great one to be no more, all the world to end. The philosopher went on ominously. whatever that word means. I don't care because I went to Baltimore City schools. So they didn't teach me how to pronounce stuff real well. However, I have a special set of eyes. Can you dig it? So, for all of you who think that zombies are going to take place, there's going to be a zombie apocalypse, that's feeding into fear. No, this right here is actually a beautiful thing. You're about to be awakened. It's a new age of awakening. In particular, say for example, your name is Kathy Kleinman. If your name is Kathy Kleinman and you work for AIG, if your name is Kathy Kleinman and you work for AIG, if your name is Kathy Kleinman and you work for AIG, I would say to you, Kathy Kleinman of AIG, I'm going to burn your ass down. And I'm going to make sure people remember your name. Because when I revealed to them that the she monster that they're talking about, Nostradamus was trying to explain to you, Kathy Kleinman, that the she monster is President Xi of China, Kathy Kleinman. Ooh, Kathy Kleinman, he's talking about Xi of China, the president of China. He's talking about pestilence. He's talking about the COVID vaccine, Wuhan, China, 2019. 13 years prior, you're going to see the sacrifice that paid for that. But he's talking about China. The she monster is not a woman. It is the president of China. Kathy Kleinman, wait till I burn you up. For those who don't know me, I have been touched by something that gives me a special set of eyes and allows me to see some things. And certain people are so despicable that I take my time out and I literally pick their ass apart with the worst thing they can imagine, because you gotta understand that God talks to me in a very specific way. And, baby, get my Nostradamus book. Not only does he show me these patterns and algorithms and show me these cards of everything, he even confirms it in Nostradamus' writings. So, I want you to understand that this Nostradamus thing he's talking about is talking about the she monster. He's talking about his President Xi. And the way this algorithm works and the way this simulation works is simple. If you are observing the simulation, then it can't take place. So for all the people out there who don't have a plan and so scared and say, well, why do I need to know this anyway? Well, the reason why you ask that question is because you don't have a plan. Well, guess what? I'm trying to explain to you, Kathy Kleinman, you are despicable, by the way. AIG Insurance, y'all gonna go out of business for what you tried to do. You'll see. I'm going to show something no one's ever seen before. But you'll see, Kathy Kleinman, I swear to God, something no one's ever seen before. AIG Insurance. I'm going to put you out of business. Little old me. We'll see. Excuse me. So, the she monster is nothing but president of China. The way this works is simple. We are in a simulation. Well, people are saying that, Santana. How do you prove that? Well, listen. Stop listening to experts, because none of them are experts. Don't trust anyone but yourself. You're the experts. If you can't confirm it with your body, then fuck it. Figure something out. You figure it out yourself, because they are no experts. You are in a simulation. Yes, you are. How do you prove it? The simulation cannot operate properly if you are watching it, because you cannot know that you're in a simulation. It's something like a dream. When you figure out you're in a dream, you wake up, the dream starts falling apart. You know how that works. The same thing with the simulation. Because I'm pointing out to these particular things and in particular actions and dates and patterns and algorithms that allow you to see them, that because you are now looking at the events and the times and the dates, then the shit they're trying to do to you can't happen. Case in point. Don't sweat it. I'll find it somewhere. Case in point. How about my lighter? Ladies, have you ever worn a thong? If you've ever worn a thong before, it's probably not comfortable the first time that you wear it for the first couple of hours. But then, a couple of hours go by, you get into your work day, and you forget all about it. But then, you go to the bathroom, really got to go to the bathroom, then you're like, oh man, I got this thong on, this uncomfortable thong. That's the simulation. It works the same way. Once you ignore what's taking place and it's not acknowledged, you don't feel the thong. It's still there. But once you think about it, the simulation is required to bring that feeling back to you because you are observing it. So by me telling you the Burj Khalifa building's getting hit in 2029, and by me telling you that they're trying to kill David Chappelle in 2035, then we are observing it. And by observing it, I mean they can't do it, David Chappelle. David Chappelle, let me go ahead and clear you from your misery because I actually like you. You have a conscience. And let me tell you why you are so powerful. All you people out there who fought with me, I swear to God, you're going to regret that because I have a particular frequency. Mr. Chappelle, I am not fucking with you. I'm not fucking with you because you're a popular person or I'm jealous of you or dislike you. Actually, you're quite likable. I told you I met you a couple times. But you have a special purpose, Mr. David Chappelle, as of all of us. But some people's are more special than others, and in particular the times. So, Mr. Chappelle, for the answer to your question, why is this nigga fucking with me? Well, Mr. Chappelle, in 1973, the birth of the Antichrist, 1973 was a year of The Exorcist. And if you are aware of The Exorcist, you remember The Exorcist wasn't just a movie, The Exorcist was an event. The Exorcist had so much energy. The Exorcist was made because it was nothing more than a big spirit harvesting event, Mr. David Chappelle. So, The Exorcist, when for everybody who goes to school, for everyone who The Exorcist was a scary movie. The Exorcist, let's do this. Let's do the trailer. Exorcist was a soul harvest. I'm sorry, an energy harvest. And the whole world missed it. Mr. Chappelle. So, my name is Santana, aka Can You Dig It? Y'all know my name. The Exorcist was nothing more than a big distraction. Remember, Mr. Chappelle, remember all you folks who sat in Sunday church who fucking hated it, me being one of them. The Exorcist, the church always teaches us that the Bible has the devil has no strength other than confusion. The devil has no strength other than confusion. I don't want to scare anybody. Exorcist, reaction, perfect. Let's see reactions. Reaction. Boom. Okay. The Exorcist was such a pivotal event that it wasn't just a movie. The Exorcist was the birth of the Antichrist, literally. And Mr. David Chappelle, how are you connected to the Antichrist, Mr. David Chappelle?
26, 1973, in 24 selected engagements in the United States, William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist, directed by William Friedkin, opened. From the novel that had long been on the bestseller lists and directed by the man who had brought the French Connection to the screen, The Exorcist had long been awaited, widely speculated upon, and anxiously anticipated. But no one, no matter how close or deeply involved in the film, could possibly have anticipated what was to happen at every theater where this film played.
This is the second time we've seen it. It's terrific. As many as I can possibly go. I love it. Try it. You'll like it. Well, we drove 100 miles, so I hope so.
Fantastic movie.
It's really gross.
It was really terrific.
I want to see if it's going to make me throw up.
The Exorcist scored the biggest opening day gross for a single theater in the history of Los Angeles motion picture houses and broke
The biggest, the first.
Established records in every other theater where it opened across the country. In record-breaking, coast-to-coast first-week grosses, The Exorcist brought in almost $2 million at 24 theaters. In 6 days, The Exorcist surpassed all previous box office records at 3 theaters in New York. At Los Angeles, 2 more theaters were open. In Chicago, the pattern was the same. And the dimensions of the Exorcist experience broke on the motion picture world with an impact rivaled only by the audiences that continue to pour into all these theaters.
Now, I need you to understand that this movie was so monumental that cities had to open up different theaters just to have the ability to house all of the people to watch this movie. This was not a movie. It was something more, and everyone missed it. And everyone gave all of that energy of this movie to the devil when they missed what really was taking place. Take a look.
It was, of course, first evident to the theater managers that The Exorcist was no longer just the most successful motion picture in film history, but had become an unquestioned sociological phenomenon, breaking out.
You hear that? Like, this was not just a movie. Listen to this. This was not just a movie. And I'm going to break it all down for you tonight.
Breaking out of the theater pages and television reviewers' hands to the city desk, the front page, and hard news on telecast from coast to coast.
I'm Harry Francis Bench of the National Theater here in Westwood. I've been in this business 40 years now, and I have never gone through anything like this. It's exciting. The public love it. Had crowds that you can't believe. We've hired 20 security guards to control the crowds. We're getting young people, old people, you name it, we get anyone. Last week in the rain, they stood as it was the sun today. Mr. Freakin and Mr. Blatty felt sorry for the people. They hired caterers. They give out 3,000 cups of coffee each night.
Ah, look at them. That's so nice. They're giving people coffee.
A total of 6,000. The public thought it was great.
My name is Randy Robbins, the assistant manager at the National Theater. We've had uncontrollable crowds, and to try and alleviate some of the problems of people not getting tickets that have been waiting long periods of time in line, we started a system of giving out coupons. Nobody gets a ticket without a coupon, and the way they get them is just by taking a place in line, waiting from 3 to 5.5 hours, and then purchasing their ticket with it. Only 1 coupon is given per person, and they can't buy a ticket without it, regardless. So what we do, right now it's 4 o'clock, we're giving out coupons for the 8 o'clock show, which will guarantee them a seat, so they won't have to worry about whether they'll be getting in or whether they won't be getting in.
My name is Donna Yearwood. I'm a cashier here at the National Theater in Westwood. We are showing The Exorcist right now, and it's absolutely fantastic. We have people coming. This morning they were standing in line at 4:30 in the morning for the 10:30 show, and we've just had sellouts every day. About 2 hours before the performance even begins, we've already got enough people in line to sell out the theater, and they remain in line, and people who know they won't get into that show will go to the end of the line and wait for the next show. Sometimes we'll have our 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and the midnight show sold out before 6 by the people that are standing in line. And they'll stand in line in the rain, they'll stand in line under all kinds of conditions.
So, I hate church. So let me get off right from the top. I hate churches. I hate pastors, I hate everything involved in the church. I think it's the most despicable thing known to mankind. That's just my opinion. I don't enact my policies based on how much I despise them. It's just my personal thing. But I'm fully aware of the reason why I despise them so much. It's nothing to do with the churches, but the people who operate them. So I'm also aware of that. But the question I want to ask you is, what religion do you guys are a part of? Tell me what religions which you're a part of, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Catholic, anything, where any of you are standing in line for your God for hours and days at a time. Tell me which one of you are doing that. See, y'all don't understand that everything is all energy. Everything is energy. And you got people who will sit in line for hours. My mother stayed in line for like 10 hours to meet Barack Obama. Has she ever stayed in line to go to church? I'm not judging her. I'm just trying to show you some examples, some things. A friend of mine stayed in line to go to the NSYNC concert. I had a tent and waited outside in the cold for an instant concert. But who is staying in line for a Allah concert or a Mary concert or a Jesus concert? No one's doing that. I'm saying all these things to say that I think all of you are hypocrites because none of you are doing that. Now, we look back in 1973. 1973, y'all just got tricked all over the place. They birthed the Antichrist that year. He was born that particular year. David Chappelle, you know he was born in 1973 too, David Chappelle. I don't know if you knew that, but coincidence. Anyway, so what you're looking at is you're looking at an energy harvest. You know how back in the day, before things got technical, when we were kids, we used to have little cars, like little race cars. And before the race cars could start driving, we'd have to rev them up by moving them backwards and keep running them backwards to build up some energy and then let it go, and then it would move forward. Well, the Exorcist is what you're looking at. The Exorcist was just that. It was an energy that was built up, and you were being told a lie. The whole story you're looking at is a complete lie. And in the process, you were given a lie and told it was the devil. And because you believed it and you were scared, you gave all of that energy to the devil, which allowed for the birth of the devil. Now, anyone who watched the movie, we have to understand that I'm telling you that this movie known as The Exorcist was a trick. It was a great trick. It was so great of a trick they brought the devil back. You thought you were looking at a demon by the name of Pazuzu, and hell, it had me tricked too for years. The demon wasn't named Pazuzu. Pazuzu was a Mesopotamian demon, a deity, and he was a male deity. Listen, check it. I mean, it was a distraction. Pazuzu isn't even the demon who initially possessed the little girl. Yeah, check it out. Pazuzu ain't even the bad guy. Pazuzu is a demon that gets resurrected to come and kill his wife. Her name is Lamatsu. I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sure, because of my Baltimore vernacular and education. But he is the demon who gets resurrected to drive out the wife, because the wife likes to do things to babies and children. And with her energy and logic, this particular demon by the name of Lamatsu has no logic to the things she does. So when she gets out of line, they have to resurrect Pazuzu to come in to clean her out. So when you're watching The Exorcist, you're watching Pazuzu really trying to clean out what was actually there. Now, that's a lot of information that people who aren't into it to know about that movie. And the entire thing was a distraction. You're going to find that there was nothing supernatural taking place in that movie that we're calling The Exorcist. Absolutely nothing. And because you were allowed to be afraid by this movie, then you gave the devil your power with your fear, and you allowed him to grow, and you gave him all your strength, allowing for the strength to be built for the Antichrist. Exorcist is not a movie about a demon. The Exorcist is a movie about right here. A little girl with her mother went to her doctor, and before first hospital, yes, first hospital. Okay. All right. Okay. So, what you're looking at is a little girl.
Put this in your mouth.
A little girl. Okay.
This tells your temperature. The red light goes on. That's your temperature.
Prior to this meeting, so what I want you to understand is this. Before this scene, ladies and gentlemen, nothing was wrong with the child. Nothing was wrong with the child. The doctor gave the child a shot. This is what happened to the little girl in the doctor's office after she received a shot. There's your demon. You're not looking at a demon. You're looking at the introduction of the MMR vaccine, sweetheart. It's not a demon. Maybe I can prove it to you. I hate that I can see all this so obviously, because when I explain to people, matter of factly, they look at me like I'm crazy. And it's crazy seeing shit that people can't see, and because they can't see it, you look at you like you're crazy. But I want you to understand that this is not a horror movie. You're being distracted. This little girl came into her doctor's visit with her mother. A normal visit. And everything is normal. Look at the children in the office. I'm going to show you something else. It's something you're going to miss. The kids are going crazy.
Put this in your mouth.
Yep. And listen to...
Yeah. This tells your temperature.
Listen to what she says.
That's your temperature.
I don't want it.
Yeah, I know what that looks. I know exactly what that looks like. I know exactly what that looks like, because I'm not going to say no names, but I had a son who I took to his doctor, and he was brain dead 3 hours after his shot from his doctor's office. So I have a little experience with this little scene you're looking at. So let me go and tell you how you currently keep being distracted by this movie. So if I can explain to you how you're being distracted, you can understand that you're not looking at a demon. You are being distracted, and what you're actually looking at is a molestation that took place. And she was molested. And everyone stopped looking at what's taking place obvious. Exorcist police, investigator. Investigator. You're going to find that because you gave into fear, that you missed the completely obvious thing, that the person who killed the person in the house, exorcist, what's the guy's name? He's an investigator. What's the guy's name? Exorcist, private. Well, how about a police officer? Not a police officer. I'm sorry, I'm looking for the right term, but I promise you it all comes together. It makes a difference. Police. Scene. Boom. God damn. Prior. Exit to now. Why am I not finding this guy? Where's the scene? Where's the guy? Okay. Anyone, please have time. Look for yourself. Exorcist, death. I need you to see something, because you're going to see that this whole thing was never ever about a demon. It was about a child who was being molested by her German housekeeper. It's a German housekeeper who molested her, and the people in the house were aware that she was molested and tried to hide it. And she just so happens to got a vaccine around the same time. So this is this is the person who killed the guy in the house, and the person who
Yeah, but they've gotten violent.
Did you give her the medication you gave you?
Yes.
okay. You see that? You see her?
That's always mine.
Fuck me.
Okay. Now, for you doctors, God, y'all, for you doctors, when a little girl is telling people don't touch her cunt, and she's just 12, 13 years old and piss in the bed, and she's saying, fuck me, fuck me. Well, doctors, you probably should look at some sexual abuse. People, stop listening to these doctors. Stop listening to them. But you should probably start looking at sexual abuse. And you're going to find when you look at the movie The Exorcist, there was a German housekeeper in the movie. A man. Jesus, Exorcist. I'm trying to find the Exorcist fight. I'm trying to show this to you. I'm sorry I'm moving a little slow, but I just need you to see that there was an investigation, and you're going to see that the German housekeeper, the police, never even talked to the man who was living in the house with the little girl. Watch the movie again. It's a cover-up. It has nothing to do with a little girl being possessed by the devil. It has everything to do with a little girl who was molested, and she happened to have gotten a vaccine at the same time. So what you were watching was a reaction of vaccine damage when you were watching The Exorcist. That's what you were watching. You're not watching a demon. Look at it again. You're going to see that nothing happens until she goes to her doctor. And just like the Salem witch trials you're going to see in 1692, a gentleman by the name of Cotton Mather, he was a gentleman who said that, oh, it's the devil who did it, and he's the one who started hanging people and getting people hung during the Salem witch trial. His name was Cotton Mather. He also happened to be the president of Harvard. So just like in 1692, when they started, he started the vaccine program in Harvard, and he started the vaccine program in Johns Hopkins. Same person, Cotton Mather. Dig it. So just like the Salem witch trials in 1692, it was the institutions who directed us to the devil. It was the institutions and the doctors that said it's the devil. So The Exorcist is nothing more than a vaccine damaged child. The doctors don't want to tell you that they poisoned the kid, so they told you to look at the devil. Watch it again. If you want to get more in depth, you're going to find that the mother and the father, Father Karras, the main character, were having an affair. And despite all the things taking place, just like everything, women lie like a fuck. They lie. She was having an affair with the father, Father Karras, and she didn't even tell the father of the girl that the damn girl is possessed by the devil. It's like women lie, and I'm learning that mothers lie more than anything because it all focuses on mothers, and man, mothers lie like god damn mothers. Jesus Christ, I don't know why y'all lie so much. Y'all damage your sons when you lie to them like that. I swear to God. But you understand that all these things was taking place to this little girl, and she was hiding this from the little girl's father. Because if you're watching the movie, what the movie was truly about was about a mother who was living in an imaginary world. That's why she was an actor. She was living a life where she was just acting. Just watch it again. You're going to also see that she had no control of her life. You're going to find that her entire life, she's not doing anything for herself. She's just being handled. You watch the first 20 minutes of the video. I wish I had this damn thing up so I can show you that. The biggest thing, boom, I found something. Perfect. What you need to watch in this video and notice what's going on in this video is simple. She was living... I'm not going to play the whole movie. I'm just going to show you all the obvious shit. So if you watch this, what I'm showing you, if I'm showing you anything grotesque, I can show you that this is not a horror movie. You're being distracted. This is nothing more than a cover-up. So you're going to see that the main concern of the mother isn't even the daughter. The main concern, son of a bitch, the main concern of the mother isn't the daughter's safety. The main concern of the mother Jesus Christ, they get us so good, and they do it so seductively. She's more concerned about losing the father than actually what's going on with her daughter. And she keeps living in a fantasy world. I want you to watch the movie again. When you watch the beginning of the movie, you're going to see that. Give me 1 second, because you know what? I can pull it up for you. Hey, baby! Maybe? Alright. Okay, so, how do I get this back up? Alright. When you watch it again, I want you to watch The Exorcist again, and you're going to see that in the beginning of the movie, you're going to watch the father is going to be, Father Karras is going to be outside. Hey, can you pull the movie site up for me? Because I want to pull The Exorcist up. I need to show a certain scene. We'll get it later. I'll show it to you later. I'll explain it to you. Oh, I can't figure it out. We'll get it later. I'll get it later. Let me just go ahead. Let me just get through this really quickly, and you can look for it yourself. Because please watch this movie. Please. It's important that you watch The Exorcist. It's important for humanity that you watch The Exorcist. I know it sounds stupid, but it's energy, and you've given your energy to something that's not real, so you have to take it back. You're going to find The Exorcist is nothing more than a woman living in an imaginary world. She took interest, and all it was a woman who wanted her man. It was a woman who wanted her man, and because the man wasn't around, she wanted the father. They tricked you with it. She wanted the father to come back, is what the movie was about. You watch the beginning of the movie, you're going to see that she's acting, and she's got a big scene where she's at Georgetown doing a big movie scene, and you're going to see Father Karras smiling and watching her do the scene. And then, partly inside into the scene, like 15 seconds to the scene, you're going to see Father Karras walk away. Well, what it's trying to tell you is the father walked away. Not the father of the child, because it really is, but it's the father walked away is what you're looking at. So then she wanted the father to come back. But nothing is taking place with this situation. Because she wanted the father to come back, she was not paying attention to her home, and she was too busy living in her imaginary acting world. And by doing so, she's doing all the things she thinks she's supposed to do. So she takes her little daughter to her doctor. Her doctor gives her a shot. In the doctor's office, the little girl starts cursing and has a meltdown inside of the doctor's office. Then you see events. It's the doctor. You're going to also see that the little girl is 12, 13 years old. Well, anybody who knows psychology or knows anything about sexual abuse or knows anything about any fucking common sense knows that if you got a little girl who is potty trained and doing everything normal, and then all of a sudden, 12, 13 years old, she's wet in the bed and pissing on herself. Well, doctors, that's the first thing you think of. We know that's going to some type of sexual trauma. Well, who could be doing that? I don't know. Maybe you should look at the German housekeeper, the man who's always left alone with the daughter while the mother's living in her imaginary world. You're going to see that the mother and Father Karras were having an affair. You're going to see that Father Karras basically the problem is the lesson, the moral of the story is this: when the father is away too long, he allows the opportunity for the devil to come into the house. That's one lesson. The second lesson is the mother wanted the father. Her biggest fear, the mother's biggest fear, wasn't losing her daughter. Her biggest fear was losing the father. But because she fed into the devil, she ended up losing her father because she fed into the fear. So if you watch it again, you're going to see that this is nothing more than a cover-up of the German housekeeper molesting the little girl. The police who did the investigation are just like the police that you see outside doing investigation today. Very, 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 very thorough and smart, because that police doing that movie was investigating a murder in a little girl's room, but did not go and talk to the man living in the house. Well, if that man was a black housekeeper, I'm sure he would have got a couple questions. I'm sure he would have got a whole bunch of questions. But I diverge. So it's nothing more than a cover-up. And the people in the house working with the housekeeper were all in on it. You're going to see a particular scene in the movie when her friend Bert is killed. And you'll just look at it again and you're going to be so mad at yourself. You're going to be very mad at yourself because it's obvious and you didn't know what you were seeing. So let me show you what you were seeing with true eyes. All I see is truth. You're going to find out, for the people who Kathy Kleinman who cross my path, you'll find out I have a very special set of eyes and I'm connected to something that does not allow things to do to take place without some type of retribution. I swear to God. But death scene. Bert death scene. Perfect. All right. See right here.
There seems to be an
That's
alien
Bert.
movie pattern, Lancy. I beg your pardon? Never seen it before in my life. Have you?
See, everything was right in front of you.
Well, we're pretty comfortable up there.
Everything's in front of you.
Mercury programs where they were tight.
Gemini, Mercury, this guy's an astronaut.
210 cubic feet so we can move around.
You know these guys are fake.
You take me along? What for?
All right, check it out.
Missionary on Mars.
Tell me, was it public relations you did for the Gestapo officer? Yes, of course. And you never went bowling with Goebbels either, I suppose, eh? Nazi bastard.
Over behind the church. You know where I mean over there? It's a red brick wing.
St. Mike's.
What goes on there? I mean, who's the priest I keep seeing there? He's there all the time. He's black hair and he's very intense looking.
You see?
Damien Karras. That's his office.
She's interested in this guy.
He's our psychiatric counselor.
You see?
Pretty rough knock last night, poor guy. His mother passed away. She was living by herself, and I guess she was dead a couple of days before they found her.
Here you go.
Canting hand, bloody damn butchering Nazi pig.
Okay. For all y'all that watched The Exorcist and got scared of a goddamn demon, there's a police officer, just like the rest of these police officers up to date, all of them, Jesus Christ, who did an investigation on who could have killed this guy. Well, you see this scene right here where the guy is arguing with him and he says, "I'm going to kill you." Let's watch it again.
Damn butchering Nazi pig.
Okay, you have a guy, Nazi, strangling a man and tells him, "I'm going to kill you." The same man ends up dead of being choked and dead. And you don't think, hey, maybe the man who's in the house with the little girl, let's ask him what was he doing the night the guy who he said he was going to kill got killed. Watch it again. And he's choking him. Hey, understand. Here's the thing. Check it out. Now, everybody always says, we're not going to listen to nothing you say, can you dig it, because you cuss and you get angry. That man is the housekeeper. He is a housekeeper. He's supposed to be the servant. So if somebody's talking shit to him, then he just walks away or whatever. But if he can't deal with a drunk throwing some small insults, I don't think he has a very good control over his temperament. I need you to understand that that man murdered him and that man was molesting that little girl. And this woman right here is fully aware of it. He killed this guy because this guy knows something's wrong. But this girl, woman right here, her assistant, is the one who's aware of it in the entire time. Her and this guy right here and this guy.
They were tight for space. Steve's got about 210 cubic feet, so we can move around.
All right, shut up.
If you ever go up there,
He's an astronaut. Okay.
You never went boat.
Him. This guy right here is the one who killed that guy. This guy right here is the one who's molesting the little girl, okay? Him. The German guy who's in the house. That guy. And understand, check it out. What you call him? Look at the mother. The mother is interested in this cat. The mother is married. But she's interested in the father. You can hear her ask the what you call him about the father. They were having an affair. And part of him losing his faith was, hey, my mother died, and hey, I'm gonna get some coochie. Psh, I'm going for the coochie. The right move. He should have went for the coochie. But listen to her interest in the father. Check it out.
Bowling with Goebbels either, I suppose, eh? Nazi bastard.
Over behind the church. You know where I mean over there? It's a red brick wing.
St. Mike's.
What goes on there? I mean, who's the priest I keep seeing there? He's there all the time. He has black hair and he's very intense looking.
Damien Karras. That's his office back in St. Mike's. He's our psychiatric counselor. He had a pretty rough knock last night, poor guy. His mother passed away. She was living by herself, and I guess she was dead a couple of days before they found her.
Canting hand, bloody damn butchering Nazi pig.
Now, everybody talks shit about me and me acting like a fool, all the characteristics you want to put in me, but I think that guy was pretty quick to just grab this guy and just start choking him, right? I mean, like, was it so bad what he was saying?
Butchering Nazi pig.
Okay, so there's a clue. He said, I'm going to kill you, and then he ended up dead. I don't know, maybe you can ask the guy who said it, but this matters, I swear to God. This ties in. Okay, so, this guy. This the police.
How do you go about getting an exorcism?
Okay. So.
Beg your pardon? I'm going to break down William Friedkin's favorite scene in the movie The Exorcist and tell you what we as the audience should take from this scene.
No, don't listen to nothing nobody say about that scene, any of these scenes. Listen to what I'm telling you because it's all misdirection. William Friedkin was just misdirecting you. It was misdirection. So don't believe nothing they're telling you. Let me just show you, and you see whether it makes sense what I'm saying versus what they're telling you. Okay, so there's a scene, Exodus Beyond 40. You're going to see the scene, Bert's dead. I'm going to show you a scene, and it can kind of give you a little insight. And when you watch it again, it's so obvious you're going to be mad at yourself. Let's see. News. Please show up. When you see it, it's so obvious and you'll understand exactly what took place. I swear, please, like that. If that one scene shows up, the whole movie will fall apart if I can show you this one scene. Yes. Oh my God. So, if you think that everything I'm saying is crazy, which it probably is, just look at this one single thing for me. And this is all I need you to understand. If you can understand this one single scene right here. Please understand, this has nothing to do with a demon. See right here? That's actually Pazuzu right there. He's I'll talk about him later, but that's him right there. But that's why I'm letting you know, you are being misdirected. Check it out. Let me show you what's taking place. Watch this scene so you can see what you're really seeing.
What the hell
hell do you mean going off and leaving Reagan by herself? Are you crazy? Her window's wide open. The whole room is freezing.
Didn't he tell you?
Didn't know who tell me.
Bert, isn't...
What's Bert got to do?
Look, there wasn't anybody here, so when I went to get the Thorazine, I had him stay with her, and...
Oh,
I should have known better. I'm sorry.
I guess you should have.
How were the tests?
We have to start looking for a shrink.
Watch. Watch.
Suppose you heard.
Heard what?
Haven't heard. Burke's dead. He must have been drunk. He fell down from the top of the steps right outside. By the time he hit M Street, he broke his neck.
Oh, God.
So, that's all you need to see. You ain't got to watch the whole movie. That's all you need to see. I want you to look at this and stop being scared of a demon. That girl wasn't possessed by no demon. You're going to see that this woman is being handled, and the people working in her house are working together against her. And watch how the gentleman looks over at the girl. The reason why this scene was so frantic is because she's going downstairs asking the girl, hey, why did you leave the little girl, my daughter, who you were babysitting, in the house by herself? And she said, oh, I had to go and get some Thorazine. Bert was watching her. And then before it can get crazy, she just, oh, I'm sorry, and the door rang. You're going to see that her and the dude are looking at each other because they have to wait for her reaction and have everything set up properly to tell her that he was dead, so she can pretend like it was basically the alibi for why she left the house. But watch it again.
What the hell do you mean going off and leaving Reagan by herself? Are you crazy? Her window's wide open. The whole room is freezing.
Didn't he tell you?
Didn't know who tell me.
Bert, isn't...
What's Bert got to do?
Look, there wasn't anybody here, so when I went to get the Thorazine, I had him stay with her, and...
Oh,
I should have known better. I'm sorry.
I guess you should have.
How were the tests?
We have to start looking for a shrink. Hi, Chuck, come on in.
Look at him looking at her.
You heard.
Look.
Heard what?
Watch. See him keep looking at her?
Haven't heard. Burke's dead.
You see? Watch again. They are so amazing. They are fantastic. Look at the interaction of the people. They are fantastic. Look at him. Look at the girl. They're working together to hide what took place. Look.
Suppose you heard.
Watch.
Heard what?
Haven't heard. Burke's dead. He must have been drunk. He fell down from the top of the steps right outside. By the time he hit M Street, he broke his neck.
Oh, God.
So, what happened there was that was their way for this young lady to establish her alibi for why she wasn't in the house. And then he come up and tell her she was like, the window's wide open because Bert, and that's why he said, oh, he must have fell out of the window and broke his neck. But understand that he and her are working together with the German dude. They did something to that girl, and the mother is still living in her fantasy world, and she still is digging the damn father. She needs to get her shit together. Watch it one more time. Just see that these people are handling her.
Right by herself. Are you crazy? Her window's wide open. The whole room is freezing.
Didn't he tell you?
Didn't know who tell me.
Bert, isn't...
What's Bert got to do?
Look, there wasn't anybody here, so when I went to get the Thorazine, I had him stay with her, and...
Oh,
I should have known better. I'm sorry.
I guess you should have.
How were the tests?
We have to start looking for a shrink. Hi, Chuck, come on in.
Suppose you heard.
Heard what?
Haven't heard.
They're amazing.
Burke's dead. He must have been drunk. He fell down from the top of the steps right outside. By the time he hit M Street, he broke his neck.
Oh, God.
Not bad. Stop with that. You see her look? He's looking over to her because it's like, I hope she's going for it. She went for it. I'll show you another one. I'll show you another one. Another scene to let you know that she's being handled. One of the best scenes of the movie was the best scenes in the movies, Exorcist. And you can see they're handling her. Scene with doctors. You're going to see that she's being handled and she has no control over her life. No control at all over her life. And you're going to see that when things go down, that she ain't in control of her life. Everyone is handling her and she's not even paying attention. And you're going to see that the German guy who's been molesting her, you're going to see he is so very, very comfortable putting his hands on this little girl when these doctors, when that's not the place of a man who's just a damn housekeeper. She don't live there. She just visited that house. Check it out.
Yes, I'm Dr. Klein. Dr.
See, you have two men and two women. But watch who comes in to hold the little girl down. You talk about riddling. It's autism. They're talking of the MMR vaccine. There you go. Fuck the doctor up. He did it. The doctor's the one who did it.
Fuck me! Fuck me!
That girl's been molested. Where'd he come from? Where's he holding her? Why is he there? There's two. What's she doing? She don't control her life. She's being handled. Look at this again. She's being handled. She ain't got control of her life. Tell me why this man is in the room, where he come from, and where is he holding her? He's holding her. Look where he's got his hands. Look where he's got his hands. And look, she is forcibly being pushed out and don't realize. Look, she's being pushed out. You understand? So, this has nothing to do with a demonic possession. This was nothing more than a little girl who was molested by the German, police. This is nothing more than a molestation case, but more importantly, it's nothing more than a girl gets sick in the doctor's office when she gets her vaccine. Okay. So what does this have to do with anything? Perfect. This movie was the biggest grossing movie of all times for a long time, and you saw what happened as a result of this crazy, crazy movie. And how does this relate? We're building the energy of this movie misdirected us and made us believe that it's possible for a little girl to get possessed by a demon. Now, everyone who watched this movie and was afraid because, oh shit, a demon can possess me and all these things, and you gave all of your energy to the fear of a demon. Well, that demon allowed for the birth of the Antichrist. The Antichrist was born in 1973. So, why don't I just tell you who the Antichrist is? Whoa, man, do I have so much more, but I've been bringing you, I know it's been going on for a long time. So, alright, so this is important. David Chappelle, how you doing, brother? I know you're thinking, this motherfucker better not be playing me no game, but I just want you to remember, Richard Pryor's your hero, 1992, Mark Twain, Lifetime Achievement Award, dies 13 years later, okay? Sidney Poitier, 2009, President of Medal of Freedom, 13 years later died. It's all going to keep happening. Now, let me tell you why it's so important. In 1973, a very important character left us. He was your last messenger. He was the last messenger who was supposed to move things along. His name was Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was the last version of, the best way I can explain it to you is like an energy. He had the energy that was supposed to be listened to, but our system has tricked us and played with the calendar, so we didn't get the message. And Bruce Lee coincidentally died in 1973. So, what great power took place in 1973 to breed the Antichrist? Well, why don't I just show you? David Chappelle, this was for you. Man, this is getting sexy. Man. Like, is it crazy? Like, now I'm trying to understand something. This woman right here by the name of Kathy Kleinman, I'm going to give you guys an hour of her. Matter of fact, let me just give me 1 second. AIG is the insurance company that handles Brussels Airlines. I'm going to make this very, very quick. AIG handles the insurance for Brussels Airlines. The incident date took place March the 13th, 2020. And everyone who knows that it took place March 13th, 2020, because I've said it hundreds of times that it was the start of the New World Order. And all of my ticket information, for example, let me show you something. Just give me, I promise you I'm not going to be fast. I'm not going to be slow in this. I promise it's going to be very, very fast. I promise. Just so you can see for yourself, so you understand the likes of what's taking place and how you think it may seem like it doesn't really matter, but the smallest events seem like they don't matter, but I promise you that they do matter. And I need you to see for yourself. So Ghana, whew. Okay, no, I'm searching. So I need you to see this. Ghana. This is my email, and I need you to search this. Okay? I want you to search. I want you to see what this looks like, so you can see for yourself. Pulling up my flight. Come on. It's moving slowly, but I promise you, it's going to be worth it. I promise you, I'm not going to have you sitting here for all this and not tell you who the Antichrist is. I wouldn't do that. And perfect. Perfect. Okay, so right now, Brussels Airlines is actually out of business and no one even knows about it, and they're pretending to be in business. But nonetheless, we'll find out. This is a news article from, you see this is 2020. You see that March 18, 2020. So this is a newspaper article. And here's another. See this? Brussels airline dispute took place March 13th. You see it, March 13th? So that's the newspaper. Getty Airline, whatever. So check it out. I just need you to see something because it's only going to take me a second. So this is another one. This is another airline. African American couple fly out Brussels airline. Okay, so you'll see that this took place on March the 13th. Okay, so despite the fact that this took place March the 13th, and that's what this article says, which is undisputable. And here you go. Let me sell you my tickets. Brussels flight payment. Oh, this is actual flight perfect. So this must be actual tickets. So instead of an email. Come on. Okay. You said purchase. Let's look at itinerary. So you see for yourself. So I know this doesn't seem like it matters to you, but I swear to God, it matters because AIG is going to have to go out of business, because when you find how AIG is connected to preventable blindness and sex trafficking and pedophilia, you understand why this particular person, Kathy Kleinman, right here. Where's her name? Kathy Kleinman. See that? This person right here? This person right here is probably the worst, filthiest noun that I've seen in a very long time, because certain people, you can only get the worst of the worst people to do these things. So I'm going to explain a little more about you a little later, but I want you to see that my ticket, here you go. You see very clear that my itinerary, see that, March 12th, you see that? It landed March 13th, but you'll see very clearly that it says March 13th, 2020. So, if I wish this could speed up some, please. Perfect. You said Warsaw, March 13th, 2020. You see that? March 13th, 2020. You saw everything that's telling you 2020, and all the people, Santana, it was 5 of us at the time. Okay? Check it out again. Polish Airlines, Thursday, we land, layover, March 13th. You see that? March 13th. Everything, March 13th. Pay for the tickets, March 13th. You see that? March 13th. March 13th. So, this happened. But AIG is trying to pretend that none of this ever happened. So, this woman by the name of Kathy Kleinman right here has denied my claim 6 separate times, because March 22nd, 2022, I didn't have any coverage. But you know what? This trip wasn't March 22nd. This trip was, like we said, like all the tickets say the same thing, March 13th, 2020. All of them say the same thing. So no matter how many times we keep telling her it's March 13th, 2020, just like the seats say, she keeps sending me letters. This is the second one. Then she said, you were not covered March the 20th, 2020. Then let me go back again. Like we said, hey, this was not 2022. This was March the 13th, 2020. 13th, 2020. Understand? She has this. This is their ticket. You understand? But she still denied my claim, because March the 20th, 2020, I never said that. The ticket specifically says March the 13th, 2020. So 6 separate times, despite the fact that I say, hey, you know goddamn well that this date is 3/13. She keeps on saying that. So then she says, okay, well, I'm denying your claim because it's not about the date. She's now saying this time that it wasn't due. It's not covered under the policy. And then she tells you, she says, interruption due to an interruption with flight attendants is why they're denying. And it says having an interruption isn't covered. You see that? Interruption wasn't covered just because of a disagreement. But she also, I guess she doesn't realize she sent the other part. You say it says illness, injury. Well, I was injured and my rib was broken. Okay? I didn't mention, funny thing, and I didn't mention anything to her about a fight. I just told her my ribs was broken. She watched the fight and said, you had a disagreement with some flight attendants, so it's denied. So I explained to her, hey, what you just sent me, you said sickness or injury. I had to go to the hospital because my ribs was broken. So then she says, oh, okay, well. So she denied that because of that. So here, I send her another letter. So this is the email I sent her. Hey, Kathy, here's a copy of the hospital visit that you did not ask for. The hospital, please see that the date of the hospital visit is 3/13/20, and it is not 3/20/20, like you boldly incorrectly stated. It is 3/13/20, so you have no confusion. Here's a conversation to refresh your memory. So I want you to understand that this was Friday, September the 9th. To me telling her, stop playing games with me, you wrote down here the wrong date, despite the fact that I told you the right date. So then, I'll show you again.
Another letter. Check it out. September the 9th. At this time, I gave her the, so then she asked for a translated copy of my medical records. So I sent her a translated copy of the medical records. I said, I have medical records translated for me. Please call if you need anything else. So, I make sure everything's ready. See, September the 11th. So then, as a result of giving her the transfer records, because she said to me that, let me show you the email, that I needed my records. I need documentation of my records. She says that I need documentation showing anything, blah, blah, blah. So I said, cool. And then I gave her my records. She then said, oh, well, they need to be translated. I said, okay, cool. Need to be translated? No problem. Here you go. See, they need to be translated. Okay, cool. So then the very next day, they translated. I'm like, they translated. Here you go. So here are the records. And they tell you, the doctor tells you, here's the doctor. The doctor kicked multiple times on the right thorax. Whatever this means, fracture, knife rib, blah, blah, blah. Santana-nitis, that is me. So, please see the translated message 313. I got to keep putting the date. This is what I sent to her. Please see 313 event which I was injured, my ribs were broken. Please say the date specifically says 313, or state it another way. Please say the incident was March 13, 2020. Please see that this is my 6th communication with her. Ask her to please keep in mind that she has sent me other emails. So, despite that, she still tells me at this time, okay, so she said once we get your, once we look at the translated thing, we'll give you another answer. So then she sent an email. Gosh. All right. I'm going to send you the last email. Long story short, she sent me another email denying it because of the date was not covered under March the 20th, 2020. The reason why AIG is going to burn, and trust me, you're going to burn for that one because you hired Kathy Kleinman, who's a big-ass dummy. She's stupid as dirt. But the thing about it is, for someone to do the things you ask her to do, they're the worst people in the world, and you can only convince somebody dirty, filthy, and low down like a Kathy Kleinman to do it. Y'all think it don't matter, but it does. It saves your life, and y'all think that I'm just beating up on disgusting, filthy pig, beast, trifling. You think I'm just beating up on a person? No, it's much bigger than that. So, she works for AIG, and they're trying to pretend like the plane fight never happened. And you got to understand that they're trying to pretend that this plane fight never happened. And this is why Kathy Kleinman is talking about all the things other than what actually happened. They're trying to pretend that the plane fight never happened. So, why don't you see plane fight? AIG is pretending and trying to pretend as if the plane fight never happened on Brussels Airlines. So they have Kathy Kleinman, this disgusting, horrible, the worst, I think she's probably one of the worst nouns. I don't consider her even a human being. She's one of the worst nouns I've seen. Where a noun is considered a person, place, or thing, right? She is considered a noun. I swear she's that kind of person that you just make you lose faith in humanity if she's a person you got to run across with something. But she is a disgusting, terrible human being. I'm going to get into her calls another day, but I'm going to show this phone call. I'm going to show this plane fight, and then I'm going to explain to you why it's so important that you understand that why blindness has been fixed and what it does. So I'm going to show you this 3-minute plane fight when they try to murder me. This is what Kathy Kleinman is pretending like never happened. Especially AIG is pretending like it didn't happen.
You don't put your hands on me! You don't put your hands on me!
Yeah, see right now, I'm being held by 3 different men right now that you can't see. And I'm trying to get my hands free. I'm being held the whole time. This dude right here came behind me and punched me in the face. This guy and this guy are working together. Watch this. And they keep grab my hand. Look at him and watch him look at him. Look at him. Look at him. And look at the other Africans working with him. Look. Look at him trying to tell him he's fine. You don't see, they're pushing him towards me. Look. They're pushing him towards me. Look at what's going on. They're trying to get me to strike him, but they're trying to, look at him. They're talking to him. Why are they pushing him towards me if they're trying to protect him? So I need you to look. They try to murder me. Now, understand, if you think this is going on for a long time, you understand that this is a full flight. It's like 300 people on this flight and not one cell phone. You understand, they're just waiting to grab me. Do you not see? They're just waiting to grab me. Now, a fight is taking place. Look at everybody's hands. Look at everybody's hands. Why doesn't anyone pick up a cell phone? You tell me a fight of 300 people and not one fucking cell phone? Look, you'll see. Where are the hands? Look, he's not even looking. So you're telling me stop. You telling me there's a fucking fight going on in front of you and the motherfucker is just turning his head the opposite direction? Why ain't he looking? Are you telling me that a man who just got fucking punched in the face and now is fighting with some people right in front of you and you're not looking? Where's the cell phone? Look around. Look at their hands. Look at their hands. Look at their fucking hands. They try to murder me. So this disgusting bitch by the name of Kathy Kleiman, who will be named? I'm just trying to get your picture, Kathy Kleiman, because I want to make sure. Nobody record nothing. Nobody, look at their hands. Look at their hands. AIG, you try to murder me. 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 There you go. All that the fuck happened. AIG, you try to murder me. So why does all that matter, Mr. Chappelle? Here's the end. You pieces of shit. 1973 was the birth of the Antichrist. Exodus allowed for the energy to build because everybody fought for a lie. If you fall for a lie, the trick for the devil, you get the devil all your power. Kathy Kleiman, you piece of dog filth. People are going to remember you, you Klanman. You don't understand that y'all names, Philip Hoare, Kathy Kleiman, you going to pay for that, you piece of dirt. Listen, for all you other people out there, one warning. For you people who tell me I was just doing my job, guess what? I'm doing a job too. So understand, you getting a job, you getting a paycheck. The job I'm doing, I swear to God, I'm doing my job. And I'm going to die doing my job. I'm letting you know, I'm going to die doing my job. So you keep doing it for money, but I promise you, I win doing my job, you pieces of shit. I swear to God. I swear to God, you pieces of shit. And listen, you pieces of shit. Alright, this is why it matters. (1973). The energy was born for a particular character. And 1979, another character was born. So, if you want to know who the Antichrist is, you look for the money. Follow the money. And who got the money? David Chappelle, this is for you. The Antichrist, if you want to ask for who's the Antichrist, you ask about who got the money. Where's the money? Follow the money. And if you're following the money, then you need to be looking at the real Antichrist. Not him. He's cool. Here is the Antichrist. Not her. Close, but she has a role. We'll give her another day. She's very, makes a big deal. Okay. In Termination, the Terminator, they called the thing that we were fighting Cyberdyne. In this simulation, the Antichrist was born on August the 21st, 1973. Gentlemen, David Chappelle, this gentleman's name is Sergey Brin. He was born on August 21st, 1973 from Russia. He's the creator of Google. That's the Antichrist. Don't believe me? Here's the thing. Here's the funny part. For the people who know me, you know what the fuck I know. For the people who don't believe me, say something publicly. Put your name on it. Put your name on it. That's the Antichrist. Now, let me tell you how this works. Let's go back to my hero. Here's my hero. My hero. Boom, boom. Malcolm is my hero. In 1952, the LCR on civil rights held a meeting to discuss the rule cloture. This cloture law was, understand folks, this cloture is like the filibuster. They basically, you hear about the poll taxes where black people couldn't vote. Well, this thing was put in place to keep black people and giving them the ability to not have the ability to be able to vote. So here's how this works. This is a big part. Whenever something is put into the simulation, the exact opposite is put in at the same time to react, deflect, defeat, what have you, but it's the exact same. And these 13s are a number, and the 62 is an indicator. But in your case, 1973 was the birth of the Antichrist, and Exorcist did it. Anyone looks at it, they're going to find that it was a misdirection. You got to look at the doctors, not the devil. The devil didn't exist. So you're going to see about my hero. Malcolm X is my hero. You're going to notice that at age 13, why they choose the year age 13 is because, remember, that is that year. I need to understand that in 1952, this culture was a big deal and was born. In 1952, Malcolm became the president of the Nation of Islam. So you got to understand that whenever something is put into the simulation, the opposite, the exact opposite comes in at the same time, the same to counteract it. And coincidentally, he died 13 years after becoming the leader, 1965, at 39 years old. Understand, he had 3 perfect cycles of 13. Martin Luther King, leader of the Civil Rights Movement for 13 years, died at age 39, 3 cycles of 13. So understand that Malcolm X was created when they murdered his father. And because of the day he was born, and the system knew that the day of his birth, they knew that in order for the frequency of Malcolm to turn into what we've seen as Malcolm, he needs to have an event. You know, in the movies, they call them like the character building, like Peter Parker, uncle died to turn him into Spider-Man. Well, because of Martin's birth, in the system has an understanding of how the frequencies truly work here. He was born and chosen and followed, but because of the date his father was going to get killed. You're participating in all these things. So these things matter more than you think. You think I'm beating up on AIG and this dumbass, disgusting, filthy human, this noun by the name of Kathy Klanman, and it's not. It's all connected. So I say these things to you because every time there's something brought into the simulation, there's always an equal. So, Mr. David Chappelle, let me tell you what you're supposed to be doing. And you want to listen, don't have to. You can just laugh at me. But I rest assured that you're probably going to want to listen to this. It's all a lie, by the way. Oh, one more thing. There's 62 squares on the chessboard. Kirk Hood told me that. So Kirk Hood, let's give Kirk Hood a big shout out. That's 62 squares on the chessboard, but you just don't want to make yourself a pawn. That's what my man Kirk Hood says. So let's give him a shout out for that. So let me show you something. This is the Antichrist. That search engine, the Google, that is it. Okay? He was born August 21st, 1973. So what's that got to do with you, Mr. David Chappelle? Is there anything on this planet that's more powerful than having all the information in the world, that's more powerful than Google? Is it? Nothing, right? Nothing. Nothing. Is there anything more powerful than Google? And is anything more powerful than Apple, Google, any of these things? Anything more powerful than these things? Let's look at David Chappelle's ex-birthday. David, I'm not trying to fuck with you. You're gonna need to know this, brother, because I don't think anybody's going to tell you. But you were born August 24th, 1973. That makes you 49 years old. Hey, David Chappelle. That's interesting. Let's look at this again. August the 24th, 1973. David Chappelle. Now, when does that mean anything? And this guy, who I'm saying is the Antichrist, and when I say Antichrist, I don't mean in the biblical terms. I mean a person who's going to destroy the world and take all your freedom. This person was born August the 21st, 1973. So what is the connection? August 24th? What is it? August 21st? I get it. Let's look at Chappelle. He seemed like a nice enough guy. Don't you like Mr. Chappelle? We all like Mr. Chappelle. So, there he is. Look at that guy. Don't you just love him? I know what happened to him. I remember when he used to look like this. But I digress. We like this guy, Mr. Chappelle. Let's look a little bit about his information. And let's look at that date of birth again, because I'm sure there's something in the date of birth that we're missing. August 24th, 1973. So, according to my algorithm, which is bad than a motherfucker, why don't we ask what happened 13 days before? Famous events on, he's born August 24th, 1973. So 13 days for that, that's 13 years, August 11th? August 11th, 1973. Boom, let's see what happened that day. What happened August the 7th? What happened on August, I'm sorry. August 11th, what happened on August 11th, 1973? 13 days before the birth of David Chappelle. What happened? What happened on this date? Man, what happened on this date? Does anyone know what happened on this date? Does anybody know what happened on this date? Does anyone know what happened on this date? 13 days before David Chappelle was born. Does anyone know what happened on this date? 30 days before David Chappelle was born. Does anyone know what happened on this date? 13 days before David Chappelle was born. It's the only thing bigger than Google, Facebook, Apple, anything. It's hip hop. David Chappelle. The reason why I'm fucking with you is because you're working for the wrong team, my friend. If you get someone smart because you're too busy to study my algorithm, which you really should study, you're going to find that equal and opposite forces are always put into a simulation at the same time. My dear good friend, we know each other, but you'll figure that out later. You're going to find that this person right here is literally about to crash the world. And if y'all watching Google and watching all your shit come apart in Microsoft and all that shit, and you know those drones look just like, y'all remember Terminator? Remember back in the day with the Terminator? Remember the Terminator from the 80s? Let's look at back in the 80s. And I got a question for you. Does these look familiar to you? Terminator 80s. How about this? Drones. Remember, when Terminator had the 80s, the movie Terminator, remember, they had drones already. The same damn drones you're looking at right side. So we call it Google. Remember, there's different realities. This reality calls it Google. Terminator calls it Cyberdyne. This is the Antichrist. 13 days before the birth of this guy, we were blessed with this character right here. And his name just so happens to be boom chicka boom boom boom. Boom chicka boom boom boom. David Chappelle. I'm not sure if you're aware of the Bible, But there was a character by the name of David who had a fight with an awfully big giant. His frequency says he's the one who's supposed to be dealing with this person here. But he's working for the wrong fucking team because he's scared. Well, Mr. Chappelle, you better do something fast, because I have an algorithm, Mr. Chappelle, that's smarter than all the fucking idiots that you have around you. They stupid. And you ain't got no friends. Not a fucking one. You'll find out soon. You're not supposed to be working and doing the things you're doing within and for this system. You weren't supposed to come back. Understand these 13-year algorithms, you broke some things up when you left and then came back. When you came back and gave back to the system, it allowed these things to take place. That's why they allowed you to be marked in 2019 to be killed in 2032. So I'm telling you that you're going the wrong way. You're following the wrong thing. You're working for a system whose job is just to deflect us and distract us, while this person right here takes away all of our freedoms and humanity. So, you cannot say nothing if you want. But if you don't, Mr. Chappelle, let me, tell you these numbers. Check it out. Oh, man, so he's turned, that's right, 13 years. That's why you hip-hop. David Chappelle literally is hip-hop. The biggest influential force is hip-hop. It came in to combat another force that was here. So hip-hop is the strongest. Anything stronger than that, what can you even compare to it? Nothing. But Mr. Hip-Hop, whose name is in the algorithm because of his birth date, is working to distract you when he needs to be out there telling you about this guy named Can You Dig It? Understand, it's the most powerful thing in the world. August 11th, 1973. David Chappelle is supposed to be working against the devil, but instead he's working for the system. He has the power of hip-hop behind him. David Chappelle has the power of hip-hop behind him, because the only thing bigger and stronger than hip-hop is the devil. They gave us hip-hop to fight against the exorcist. A force was released here where you gave all your energy to the devil. But then the message got corrupted. Hip-hop was supposed to defeat the devil. The message got corrupted. There was a gentleman born 13 days after the birth of hip-hop by the name of David and Goliath Chappelle, who's supposed to be doing something different, but he's feeding fear. While he keeps feeding fear, they about to take a big ass bite out of his life. Because what you don't want to be is fearless. Because when you lose your children, like I know a guy has, he stops fearing things, and that's why he can go into Mexican jungles, and why he can fight cartels, and why he's in a plane fighting 7 people by himself. Because once people take your children, what the fuck you gotta fear? And there's no way you want to be. So, ignore me. Do nothing. But, man. So, I'm not trying to scare nobody. Well, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'm just disgusted. So, let me say this in closing. There's rules to this game. This young lady right here, crazy. She is the daughter of the former president of Angola. Her father was not a very nice man, and he was not a nice man. He's a very brutal dictator. This is the daughter. She's the richest woman in Africa. She's worth like $3 billion. She's like the richest woman in the world for a long time. Her, and she is rich because of oil. Okay, oil. So here's how it works. Now I know you think these things are connected, right? And remember, all these things keep happening because of energy and power. They're switching over to oil, right? They switched to oil last time. Now they're switching to something new. But she makes her money. Let's check it out. I'm about to end this, but I want to give y'all something very, very fantastic to look at. And I think you'll think it's I know you're going to, well, just call it a coincidence, because we're just going to call all this thing that keeps happening just a bunch of coincidences, because hey, I couldn't have possibly found nothing in academia I couldn't found, because they're God. They get to tell you that something is dead. Like a doctor has to come and tell you you're dead. Like if you're not dead, like if you get your head cut off, you're not dead. A doctor come in and then say, hey, now you're dead, because the doctor's God. Esperanza Spalding, listen to her music, she's amazing. She has a book, she's a song where she says, like, why are you still listening to any type of person in church when you have a cell phone? It's like she's saying that you can go Google any information in the world, anywhere in the world, anytime you want, and your priest only got, or pastor or whatever, only have so much information. But with your cell phone, you can reach everything in every part of the world and ask any questions in the world on your own. So literally, I suggest you leave the church and become your own God, because you know more than what your pastor knows. You know more than your preacher. Like your cell phone with you gives you ability to know more than your pastor and your preacher. So what better timing than for you to leave the church and leave as your own God, knowing that you now know more than the pastors and the preachers with your phone. You can just Google anything you want, because Google is your God. But she was once the richest woman in Africa. Dig it. Oil. So the algorithm says a couple things. So let me tell you how all this breaks down. I hope you like it, the build up. Have anybody ever heard of the Tulsa Massacre, right? That happened in 1921. There you go, 1921, right? So let me do something that no one dare would do, because, hey, I'm cool like that. I want you to notice that. Listen to how this works. 13 years. All right, perpetrators. The injured, no one knows. No one knows the exact number, because they killed the whole people. They killed the whole town. Let me go ahead and have fun with y'all, because you know what? Let me have fun with you. You're going to get a kick out of this. Y'all don't have to watch any more of this. But if y'all want to watch something really fucking cool to explain to those people who tell you what you can and can't do, let me show you something that you can explain on your own. All right? Since you guys are watching this crazy man talk, i.e. me, can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? We're going to delve into Mr. Can You Dig It and how he sees things. This is called Bird on Money. Okay? Basquiat drew this picture in 1981, right? Bird on Money. He drew it in 1981. Okay? Now, this picture on Bird on Money is explaining to you the 9/11, and it's explaining to you the Tulsa massacres. So Kathy Kleiman, let me explain to you something about these special sets of eyes and how they see, and how, I swear to God, you really shouldn't have done that to me the way you've done that. You're going to find that I do things in a very specific way, Miss Kathy Kleiman of AIG. And y'all think, who gives a fuck? This is personal. I swear to God, it matters to you. Trust me. So, this picture is called Bird on Money. Jean-Michel Basquiat. Basquiat was he saw the future. Like Nostradamus' name is Michel too. Something about that name. Let me just break this down for you really, really quick. This picture was made in 1981. 9/11 took place in 2001. So how could he know about 9/11 in 1981 unless it was planned, right? So what I'm saying to you is, if you believe that 9/11 was planned, you have eyeballs. That means you have eyeballs. If you believe it wasn't planned, then you're a zombie. If someone drew a picture about 9/11 20 years before it happened, that means that it was planned, right? So, I'll tell you what. Just let me tell you what it says. You look at it. You tell me that I'm lying or stupid, go and do all those things. Do it publicly, because I love to defend my position. You tell me that I'm wrong. So let's jump right out there with the obvious stuff. See 9/11, see a whole bunch of 9s and 11s, 911, 911, 911, 911. That's obvious. That's not even impressive. Let me get into the meat of it for the people out there who want to say, oh, those are 9. I dare you. So let me just tell you, I dare you, question it publicly, because I will eat you up. I dare you to challenge any of it. I want someone to challenge me because I can learn something more. But my source is something that Kathy Kleinman, I swear to God, you're going to learn something from this one. I promise you. In 1921, a place called Tulsa, Oklahoma, was all the black inhabitants of this particular city was massacred by the white inhabitants of all the local towns and communities of this particular city called Tulsa, Oklahoma. Kathy Kleinman, you're a racist piece of shit, and your name is Kleinman. Don't you realize that Kleinman, you don't realize that the reason why the people call the word Kleinman is because of you? Is anyone not noticing that Philip Hoare sold out blindness? Y'all don't realize that these people got named by somebody, and this is a simulation. We've done this again. They're calling her Kathy Kleinman. You're calling this guy Howard Monster. The guy I'm dealing with, his name is Meinster. He's going to turn into a monster. People don't realize I named you fools. But you'll figure out in a little while. Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. Well, all the white people were deputized and were given the ability to just go and massacre an entire black town. And they even brought in planes and fire jets and threw bomb this town and try to kill everybody, kill as many people as they can. So, 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma. That was a 2-day affair. It was very, very racist. Matter of fact, Kathy Kleinman, you probably know. You see, May 31st, 1921 to June 3rd. So you got to understand. Who did it? I don't know. White American mob. Guns, explosives, airplane, whistles, we don't know. So, now, that's Tulsa. A very racist thing. Kathy Kleinman, you, Kathy Kleinman from AIG, you, Kleinman, look at this. Like, this shit writes itself. Like, you can't help but be a racist, disgusting, dirty dog, Kathy Kleinman, because look at your name. It's your frequency. Look. Kleinman. Kleinman. It's a Kleinman. She's a Klansman. Like, literally, it's in her stinking ass, dirty, filthy frequency. But, check it out. Tulsa Massacre. So, what happened as a result of the Tulsa Massacre? Well, it happened in 1921. Why don't we do the algorithm and say, well, this is a fucked up event that nobody did anything about. This was a big soul harvest event nobody did anything about. Why don't we add 13 years to it and see what happened to Tulsa 13 years after 1921? So look what happened in Tulsa in 1934. The big thing that happened in Tulsa. Is it there? Why don't I just do this? This day in here, where is it? Tulsa. They call this day Black Sunday. I'm sorry, Bloody Sunday, the Tulsa murder. In 1934, 13 years later, almost 13 years to the day, Tulsa, Oklahoma received a day that they called Black Sunday. Black Sunday. Boom. 1934, 13 years later. Black Sunday. Black Sunday. So what happened? For you folks who don't know about the Dust Bowl, in 1934, no, Black Sunday was why is it like 34? I mean, no, it was this one, 34. 1934, the single biggest thing, so check me out. On 1934, let me show you what this looked like. Oh, I can show you a cloud. A cloud covered Oklahoma, and all of the surrounding cities. And it lasted for 2 days. No, this isn't it. It's another one. It's 1934. Because it lasted for 2 days. This storm, this cloud, this is real shit. This cloud hung over Oklahoma and the surrounding, I know what it is, dust storm. Dust storm, I got you. You'll see what I mean. This cloud stayed over top of the states, all the surrounding tapes for, let's just see what you got here. Okay, this is it. This day here. I don't know why. Well, this is Google, so they may change. Okay, so this day here. This is the day. I don't know why they're changing things, because they probably trying to make a fool out of me because the dates is 1934, but they keep trying to put in 1935 to confuse y'all. Rest assured, it's 1934. I've done this a couple times before. It's 1934. Literally, a cloud came in. Just can you imagine a cloud covering your entire everywhere, and it stays for 6 months. So understand, I'm sorry, it stayed for 6 years. It covered everything. Everything was covered with dust. Everything was covered with dust. 13 years later, so understand that it took out the storm. It took out all of the wildlife. It took out all the wildlife. It took out all of the cattle. It took out everything because of the deeds of 1921. But here's the question that I just found that no one asked, and it's weird. The 1921 Tulsa riots that never were prosecuted. It made me ask questions because if you want the truth, you got to follow it no matter where it goes. So 1921 Tulsa massacre, I started looking at 1908 to see what happened to Tulsa in 1908, 13 years prior, because something took place to enable that power to have been generated for them to have been able to be victims of this sacrifice. So you look at 1908 Tulsa, and I found something very interesting. Tulsa, Oklahoma. I found something very, very interesting. Okay, so Tulsa, perfect. 1908 Tulsa. Let me find out what happened to you in Tulsa. Gosh, please let me get it right. Get it right. Black Hawk, Tulsa, Greenwood. Okay. Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street. I'm trying to find this for you so you can see everything. Okay, so you can Black by name. This should be it. God, please let this be it. Please let this be it. Please let this be it. Please. Because, woo, people got to find out what all this is about. And it's a shitty question to ask, right? But ask it. Just go for it. Just ask it and find out if there's anything that took place. Anything that took place that could have precipitated this type of harvest. And just look for yourself. Bro, why you stay there? I'm sorry, please be patient with me because I promise this matters. Oh man, I wish I'd have had this if I had this nerd stuff on here. Tulsa. sorry, this is taking a while, but it's really important that you see this because in 1908 something happened, and I need you to see what happened in 1908. 1908, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1908 Street. You'll see what happened. No, talk. Street name and system issue pattern 1908. Street post name and system pattern. Okay, house internet of 19. I'm trying to show this to you because what I'm trying to show you is in 1908 something happened in Tulsa, and the folks who founded the city, the people who founded the city of Tulsa, did something in 1908 that I believe was their damnation. And if I can find it for you, it really matters if I can just find it for you. In 1908, the people of Tulsa, Oklahoma, the black inhabitants renamed. Gosh, where is it? The black inhabitants renamed all the streets in that area known as Tulsa, Oklahoma. In addition to that, the black inhabitants who lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Please let me find it. It's really important. Please let's be it. Whew, because, I know everybody likes to think things are coincidences, but if you look at them, you can, if you want to think it's a coincidence, by all means, keep thinking it's a coincidence. But please be right. Be the right one. Come on, 1905. 1908, 19, isn't it? The Williams family's collection, the Open Dreamland Museum, 1908. Damn it. Alright. I'm going to find it for you on another one. But let me get back on this for you and help you out real quick. Okay. This picture is called Bird on Money. This is showing us September 11th, and it's showing us a couple other things of what's going to take place. So I already got you, let you know 911, 911, 911, 911, 911, 911, 911, 911. You're also going to notice this right here. This right here is shaped like the state of Oklahoma. Take a look at this. And you're going to see Greenwood. Greenwood is the place. Greenwood is where the massacre took place. So when you're saying Greenwood, Basquiat is explaining to you, hey, Basquiat is saying, hey, Greenwood, you look at the map, you're going to see this is shaped as a shape of Oklahoma. Right here, take a look at, right here, I'm sorry. You're going to see it again, Oklahoma, and this is Greenwood. This is what you're talking about in this movie. Roots of Greenwood, okay? So, you look at this picture, and you see this thing right here. It's like a building almost, right? And then you look over here and you see a building right here. See? Building here, building A, and then building B. Okay? Para morta. Do you know what that means? That means to die side by side is what that means. Because you had a twin tower, Tower A and Tower B. You have an airplane wing right here, an airplane wing right here, and an explosion. So what you're looking at is 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma, in particular Greenwood, Oklahoma, and you're looking at what was called, everybody knows that Tulsa, Oklahoma used to be called Black Wall Street, right? Well, 911 was New York City's American, whatever you want to call it, white Wall Street. So it's trying to tell you that 911, why is he talking about 9/11 in a picture drawn in 1981? Because he's explaining to you that this was a financial attack that took place. This picture is called Bird on Money. Bird on Money. It's money. So he's trying to explain to you that Black Wall Street in Greenwood, Oklahoma, go look at your map. You're going to see this a map of Oklahoma. You're going to see that the Greenwood Massacre is here, Black Wall Street. You're going to see the 911, the Twin Towers. That's also Wall Street. You see that plane here? You see that plane here? See that plume of smoke? See these things right here that look like peace signs? Well, that's Basquiat laughing at you. Because you see these things look like peace signs, this means that men are dying. So these are the people, and this is the smoke because they're talking about 9/11. They're talking about, see right here? See the little plane right here? You're talking about financial attacks. Bird on Money, Tulsa Massacre, and 9/11. Please tell me that I'm wrong. I dare you. Say it publicly. You tell me that this ain't a building A, this ain't building B, and tell me this ain't the wing of a plane, and that ain't the wing of a plane. And when you go and look at where the planes hit, look where they're positioned, and you're going to see they would hit exactly where he drew them at. How the fuck did he know that in 1981? Because it's all planned. And I don't know if he had access to the algorithm, but he had that in his painting. So, this is basically demonstrating that, hey, people know what's going on. It's kept secret. And, you know, even when you are racist, a disgusting, filthy person, you need to see that. Being a racist, just terrible, terrible person, you being watched. So all the little things you're doing, Kathy Kleiman, you disgusting beast, just know, everybody's going to know your name. And I'm redeeming you, though, because you're going to have to change your name to live. Because when people hear your name, they're like, are you the? Yes, you are the that one. I will make sure. I'm just looking for a good picture of you because you are despicable. So I need you to understand that you are going to be hard pressed to find someone who is willing to stop someone from fighting pedophilia because, oh my God, the pedophilia and fixing blindness. You're not going to find too many people who are willing to do that. But when you do find them, there are going to be the stupidest people you're going to imagine. But in addition to that, they're the lowest of the low. Kathy Kleinman, I'm going to go through everything with you tomorrow and make another video and make it extra funny. So they remember you. You dirt. You worse than dirt. Dirt has a purpose. You are, let's just find something new for you because I'm just disgusted. So, I am so sorry for you folks who I've offended. I curse, but you know what? When people take everything from you and then try to murder you and poison your children, I like to see how pleasant you talk to people, especially when you're trying to warn them, let them know that, hey, they're about to fuck you up. So, I want to state very, very clearly, if anybody got any questions, hey, stay away from that number 62. It's an indicator of death. Right now, I'm working on compiling some data because you're going to see that in 1975, that the 62 dams were allowed to fail at the exact same time. Okay? So, 62 dams collapsed at the exact same time, and it just so happened to be 62 dams, right? So, because of that, they were allowed to. Let me tell you what that netted from the 62 dams. It was a big deal. I'm sorry, I got a lot of stuff. When I have a new thought, I like to have it close to me. Chris Tobacco, don't think that you've forgotten about Chris Tobacco. Check it out. I'll pull it out. Let's see if we can pull it out. So here's hilarious. So let me tell you how when you start finding out what the devil does, the devil tries to trick you and try to change things. Check me out. Look at this. The Bankia Dam. Check it out. Let me show you how the devil is so fucking predictable. Let me show you what happens. Because I'm exposing stuff, because I enjoy it, because people like to poison children, and you gotta understand, you're not gonna get away with that with them. Especially not my kids. Here, check it out. Listen to what Wikipedia says about this damn crashes. Here's little clues, you know that you done found something. Listen to this. The 1975 Bankia Dam failure collapsed, and 61 other dams. Because listen, it was 62 dams, but they keep on seeing articles. You're gonna see articles where they're trying to say 61 and then the extra one. No, it was 62 dams, because 62 was their number. So that's 62 dams that took place in 1975. What I need you to understand is this. That as a result of that, 13 years later, 62 dams died, and the death toll was, I think, close to 230,000 people, something like that. And look, 62 dams at the same time. What a coincidence! Just everything just all broke at the same time. 62. What a coincidence! You're going to find as a result of that, China's prize was the 1988, 13 years later, was the CNPC, the China National Petroleum Corporation, 13 years later, 1988. You understand? So, I'm trying to calculate, I know it sounds a bit morbid, but they're saying 230,000 people died. Well, they are the fourth largest Fortune 500 company by revenue in the world. So, please understand that there's literally a system here that is being rewarded from killing us. And certain people who do certain things get sacrificed, because your name is David Chappelle, and you were born 13 days before the creation of hip-hop, and you have a powerful weapon because you, David Chappelle, I ain't no dick rider. I'm just going through the algorithm. I'm better than all y'all. Trust me, y'all find out. I'm way better than all y'all. You were given a gift. David Chappelle, all the shit that's going on in the world right now, in particular America and the black community, can be stopped by you because you are hip-hop. Yeah, listen, people know you like hip-hop. People don't know that you are a hip-hop historian. You know hip-hop. The reason why you know it, because that's your power. It belongs to you. And then you got the name David. David and Goliath. You have a very powerful name, very powerful frequency, but most importantly, you have a very important date that you were born on. So you're not supposed to be taking vaccines and being scared. You're supposed to be calling all your hip-hop niggas together and saying, hey, all of us are being manipulated, and all of us, Wu-Tang Clan, have sold all these rap albums, but none of them are filthy rich. David Chappelle, you're the one who's supposed to say, all you come under my Chappelle umbrella, and every artist, hip-hop, X, Y, and Z, come through me. But you scared. Scared money don't make money, but I know you know it's not about money. I promise you, I didn't see my wake-up call. So how it works also is simple. You're given some things to telling you, hey man, do this, and you ignore them. Well, I did that. I lost my son because I didn't follow the path I'm supposed to follow. So y'all don't listen, and just sit back and do nothing. Don't listen. But you are here to do something. Every single human being on this planet has a special purpose. And if you're not using your special purpose, you're shit. I mean, not shit, you're worthless. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's literally worthless. You are here for a reason. Like, you're here for a reason. And if you're not doing the reason, then you're worthless. You're supposed to be doing it. Like, if you're 8 foot tall, then you're supposed to be doing something with the height. God made you tall. Or actually, you did it yourself, you just don't remember. But you made yourself tall because of some reason you have a purpose. And you don't follow your purpose. Well, just let you know, Mr. Chappelle, your dates coincide with the birth of the force that's supposed to stop the Antichrist. And what's crazy is you work for the same people as the Antichrist. And this isn't a religious thing. I'm not talking religious. The way that, and not talking from religious terms. I'm just talking about this thing that's going to take over humanity. Does anybody find it weird that, does anyone find it far-fetched that Google can take over humanity? No one thinks that's scary? They got all our information. Who has more information than Google? Well, they have so much information. You understand, when people have so much information, they start actually believing that they're God. And you did it. Now, here's the thing. I really hope you, David Chappelle, get some strength and bring the old David Chappelle back. Because, as crazy as this sounds, my shit is fucking sound. And I hate that it's that fucking sound. If you just step up and be brave and take your gift, there's something owed to you. Every hip-hop head in the world, all of hip-hop, if you say all of you show up to my house in Ohio and we're going to do a Black Woodstock or hip-hop, everyone would show up. The whole world would show up. And you can give a message. But I've learned that all of y'all are cowards. All of y'all are cowards. I'm just so disappointed. Like, where are the men, like y'all? Like women shouldn't fuck none of y'all niggas. I couldn't imagine being a woman watching the world go around and y'all niggas just sitting around doing nothing, watching other men do shit. But, fortunately, the devil has a backup plan. So, the devil's a backup plan. And, I sure wish I didn't have to fight prison reform, blindness, and pedophilia, and keeping women out of prisons all by myself. It would be nice if somebody would decide to maybe stand up for something that's wrong, instead of telling me, stop standing up for something right. Well, listen, I hope y'all enjoyed this presentation. If it was too long, well, guess what? No one has to look at it. I am not trying to get fans. I'm trying to save your life. You don't like me? Don't listen. Honestly, I swear to God, I just want all of this to be fixed so I can get the fuck away from all of y'all. But I want to get the fuck away from y'all luxuriously. I want to live in luxury the fuck away from all of you, because all of you lost your way. And it's like, God damn, I hate the fact that I'm fighting for all of you ungrateful pieces of shit. So, all this is saying, you niggas keep your eyes closed, keep sleeping, and y'all gonna burn for just watching this. Y'all keep asking the questions, like people forget that in 1921, the culminating event in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that allowed for their sacrifice, which I don't agree with, was the land that they acquired was as a result of the Indian Removal Act. And in 1908, the founders of Greenwood, Oklahoma, changed all the street signs, and they put roads over top of the burial grounds of the natives who were there and lost their land because of the Indian Removal Act. I'm not saying the people in Tulsa deserved it. I'm simply saying these energies you can't kill energy. And when you do certain things, the energies reappear in another place. So, when you do these deeds, that energies has to appear somewhere else. And that's what took place. So, it's a never-ending cycle. And you understand that in 1975, when when all those dams collapsed in 1975, China dam, okay, 1975, 62 dams, understand. So what you need to understand is this: 1975 China. What you need to understand is this, what I want you to understand. That was the largest structural failure in history, you understand? 62 dams in one, it's like, come on, this is crazy. One night, all of it happened, right? Well, 1975 dam failure. What you also found out about that 1975 dam failure is this. So, I'm trying to find some information for you. But for this dam and these failures, I need you to understand that there were tons of whistleblowers for this dam. There were tons of people coming forward telling them that this dam is faulty. Okay? And every time someone came forward, it was ignored. So, only a certain kind of people can do that, though. 1975. You know, so I want you to see that this place had tons of structural engineers telling them, hey man, we need to tell them these things are not, this is not structurally sound. They told him. But you know what? What happens is you get these characters like a Kathy Kleinman, who they put in charge to do the most terrible things. But understand that all these dams failed in 1975, 62 at the same time, caused a typhoon, just to get this. What thing is? Where's my paper at? Where's my paper? You know, China oil. They did all these things just to get the China oil. So I'll get an exact calculation very soon about what a death pays for. Like, there's a calculation on how much you are worth, and you don't even know about it. And the worst part is, you're not even allowed to choose your worth. So if they say you ain't worth shit, then like they say, well, a 13-year-old white girl, well, you $600. Like, there's a going rate for everything. You know, there's a going rate for everything. So let me get off this thing. There you go. This woman here, Kathy Kleinman, you know, who keeps telling me I'm not covered on this date, despite the fact that all of my paperwork says 3/13/2020. You know, but this one disgusting, filthy, disgusting woman is stopping worldwide blindness. Her job is just to stop worldwide blindness. That's it. That's her job. But remember, the same way there's people around telling them, hey, these jams are not sound. You know, it's not example. This ain't going to crash. And it did. You know, it did. So because that person was ignored, because you have people like Kathy Kleinman, what's taking place is this, which we're set up for. This here is a Three Gorges Dam. Understand that this dam is scheduled to collapse and to be destroyed, whatever. And son of a bitch. This dam is scheduled to be collapsed on 2045, and it can only happen if we allow it. Let me show you how big this thing is. It's massive. They say it's so big it changed the earth tip. Look at this. Listen, so earthquakes and shit happen, and they keep saying that it's safe, but it's not safe. If this dam collapses, 500 million people die instantly. Now you probably ask yourself a question: why would you build a dam to hold back water that if it failed, it killed 500 million people? The reason why is because they didn't have a choice. So the government built it, and they gotta live there. But that dam is scheduled to be blown up in 2045, says the algorithm. So maybe I don't care, maybe you do care, but hopefully you guys get brave. And the alternative is a lot worse than being brave, I assure you. But I'm exhausted. I've talked too long. I just want to get this information out there. I hope this eases the mind of some of you folks. I'm not sure, but can you dig it? And I hope you learned something, and I hope you heard something you haven't heard before. And I'm going to do a couple more videos because I'm going to go very detailed and in depth about this prison abuse, because that's important. And I'm going to explain to you Kathy Kleiman and Roberta Gatewood. I'm almost finished with her. I'm just waiting for a picture. I've reached out to people trying to get me a good picture of Roberta Gatewood, because you need to see her face, and I need to explain to her that she's despicable. And honestly, what you gonna say when you see your mother?